After years of waiting, hopes, and prayers, the Duggar family finally woke up to the news that would change their lives forever. Jana Duggar, the quiet, graceful eldest daughter who had always been known for her calm nature and gentle heart, had given birth to her first child. The news spread through the Duggar home like sunlight breaking through clouds. For a family that had seen both storms and blessings, this moment felt like a divine gift. A new chapter written by love and faith. Michelle Duggar couldn't hold back her tears. She had prayed for this day for so long, watching her daughter care for everyone else but herself. Jana had always been the helper, the caretaker, the strong one who put others before her own dreams. And now she was finally living one of those dreams, holding her own child in her arms. The family could almost hear the angels singing as the message reached every sibling, every friend, and every fan who had followed their story for years. Stephen Wissmann, Jana's husband, stood beside her with a trembling smile. He was overwhelmed, not just by the sight of their newborn but by the emotions that came rushing in. The tiny cries of the baby seemed to echo through the hearts of everyone present, a sound that carried peace, promise, and a reminder that love was stronger than time, stronger than anything else they had endured. The rest of the Duggars gathered together in the family's big living room, each face glowing with happiness. Joanna hugged Jessa tightly, while Jinger, calling from Los Angeles, couldn't stop crying on video call. "She's finally a mom," she kept repeating, her voice breaking with emotion. Even Jim Bob, who rarely let his emotions show, looked at the family photo wall with wet eyes. For him, it was more than just a grandchild. It was the continuation of their family's faith and legacy. Outside the house, cameras and fans had already started gathering. News outlets were reporting the story within hours. Jana Duggar welcomes her first child. Fans flooded social media with congratulations and blessings. For once, the internet was filled not with gossip or rumors, but with genuine joy and love for the Duggar family. As the evening light began to fade, the world seemed quieter, softer. Inside the hospital room, Jana looked down at her baby's tiny hands and whispered a prayer of gratitude. She thought of all the years she had waited, watching her siblings marry, watching them raise children, and wondered if her moment would ever come. And now it had. Every second felt sacred. Every heartbeat felt like a song. In that moment, Jana realized something beautiful. Life doesn't always follow the plan we imagine. Sometimes it takes longer. Sometimes the wait feels endless. But when it finally happens, it feels exactly right, as if every step, every tear, and every prayer had been leading to this very day. That night, as the stars shimmered above the quiet Arkansas sky, the Duggar family gathered for a prayer of thanksgiving. The air was filled with laughter, tears, and the sweet scent of hope. Jana's baby had brought a new kind of peace to the family, a reminder that love, faith, and patience always bring miracles, no matter how long they take. And for the first time in a long time, everyone in the Duggar home slept with smiles on their faces, knowing that tomorrow would rise with new joy, a future born from the heart of their beloved Jana. The next morning, the Duggar home felt alive in a way it hadn't in years. The sun poured gently through the curtains, lighting up the family pictures on the walls, reminders of faith, unity, and countless memories. But today there was one picture missing, the new life that had just joined them. Everyone was waiting for Jana and Stephen to bring their baby home. Michelle Duggar moved through the kitchen with a renewed energy, humming softly as she prepared breakfast for everyone. The aroma of homemade bread and coffee filled the house. She had arranged fresh flowers in the living room and carefully folded a tiny pink blanket that she had kept from when Jana herself was a baby. "It's like life has come full circle," she whispered to herself. Meanwhile, Jim Bob was outside, setting up decorations with the boys. He wanted everything to look perfect: colorful ribbons, balloons, and a big banner that read, "Welcome home, Jana and Amp, baby." His face glowed with pride. To him, this wasn't just a family event. It was a symbol of endurance, of faith that had carried them through every trial. He believed that this child would bring the Duggars closer together again, healing the small cracks that time and distance had left. Inside, the younger Duggar kids ran around, practicing the little song they had written for their new niece. Their laughter echoed through the hallways, filling every corner with joy. The house had always been full of noise, laughter, chatter, arguments, music. But this was a different kind of noise. It was the sound of peace. As the clock struck noon, the family gathered by the front door, hearts racing with excitement. Outside, a soft breeze moved through the trees, carrying with it the sweet scent of spring. Then at last, the sound of a car pulling into the driveway broke the silence. Everyone rushed to the windows, smiles spreading across their faces. Jana had arrived. The car door opened slowly. Stephen stepped out first, gently carrying the baby seat. Jana followed, her face glowing with the kind of happiness that words could never describe. She looked tired but beautiful, her eyes filled with quiet gratitude and wonder. When she stepped inside the house, the family erupted into cheers and tears. Michelle hugged her daughter for what felt like forever, whispering blessings as she pressed her cheek against Jana's. The baby, wrapped in soft blankets, was passed from hand to hand, each sibling taking turns to hold her, to look into her tiny face. Joanna cried softly as she rocked the baby in her arms. Jessa smiled through tears, whispering, "She looks just like you, Jana." Even the youngest Duggars stood silently, watching in awe. Later that afternoon, as everyone gathered in the living room, Jim Bob led a family prayer. His voice trembled as he thanked God for bringing new life into their home. "This child," he said, "is a reminder that blessings come in God's perfect time." The room fell silent as everyone bowed their heads. Jana held Stephen's hand tightly, her heart swelling with emotion. She knew this was more than just a birth. It was a rebirth for the whole family. Outside, fans had gathered near the gate, holding signs that said, "Congratulations, Jana," and "Welcome, baby Duggar." Some had traveled from other states just to be part of this moment. Reporters stood back respectfully, filming from a distance as the family waved. For once, the media attention felt kind, gentle, focused on love rather than controversy. As the day turned into evening, the house glowed with soft lights. Music played quietly in the background as everyone sat together for dinner. The long table, once filled with tension and arguments from the past, now overflowed with laughter and stories. Jana sat at the head of the table, her baby asleep in her arms. She watched her family and felt something she hadn't felt in years: complete peace. After dinner, Stephen stepped outside with Jana to sit under the wide Arkansas sky. The stars were scattered like diamonds above them. The night air was cool, wrapping them in stillness. Stephen looked at Jana and said softly, "Our life starts here." Jana smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Yes," she whispered, "and it's already perfect." Inside, Michelle quietly placed the baby's blanket back in the crib, whispering another prayer of thanks. Jim Bob turned off the lights one by one, his heart full. The house fell silent once again, but it wasn't empty. It was filled with love, with hope, and with the soft breathing of a newborn who had brought light back into every corner of their lives. And as the night deepened, the Duggar family dreamed together under the same roof, their hearts bound by faith, and their souls lifted by the miracle they had waited for so long. Days turned into weeks, and the Duggar home began to feel different. It wasn't just the sound of the baby's gentle cries at night or the sight of Jana's tired yet glowing smile every morning. It was the feeling that something sacred had entered their world, something that had softened every heart and reminded them of what truly mattered. Jana's life had changed in ways she had never imagined. The once reserved daughter who always stayed behind the scenes, quietly taking care of her siblings, now found herself at the center of everyone's love and attention. For years, people had whispered about when or if she would ever have a family of her own. But now, as she held her baby in her arms, those whispers faded into the background, replaced by warmth and admiration. Every morning, Jana would wake up before sunrise. The house would be quiet, the air still heavy with sleep. She would walk to the nursery, gently pick up her baby, and rock her by the window. Outside, the world was waking, birds beginning their songs, the soft light of dawn spreading over the fields. In those quiet moments, Jana often thought about her journey. All the time she had wondered if this day would ever come. She had watched her sisters become mothers one by one, had helped raise their children, and yet somehow believed her story might be different. But now, holding her daughter close, she realized that her path had simply taken longer because it needed to lead her here, to this exact moment of peace. Stephen was by her side every step of the way. He had taken time off from work to help, to learn, to grow into the role of a father. He wasn't perfect, but he was gentle and patient. Sometimes, late at night, when the baby refused to sleep, he would sit beside Jana, holding her hand, whispering small words of comfort. "We're learning together," he would say. And every time he said it, Jana's heart felt lighter. Meanwhile, the rest of the Duggar family couldn't get enough of the new baby. The younger siblings came over almost every day, bringing gifts they had made themselves, little cards, drawings, and handmade toys. Michelle would visit often, her eyes glowing with pride. She had raised 19 children, but somehow watching Jana as a mother felt different. It was like watching her own legacy continue. Proof that love and faith truly pass from one generation to another. Outside their home, the world was celebrating too. News outlets ran features on Jana's new life, calling her the gentle heart of the Duggar family. Fans from across the country flooded social media with congratulations and blessings. Messages poured in from everywhere, from mothers who related to her journey, from women who had waited for love and found it later in life, and from people who simply admired her strength. The hashtags #WelcomeBabyDuggar and #Jana finally found joy trended for days. For once, Jana's name wasn't surrounded by speculation or gossip. It was surrounded by love. And though she didn't seek attention, she couldn't help but feel grateful for the kindness that filled her world. As the weeks went by, Stephen and Jana began to find a rhythm: sleepless nights, soft lullabies, and endless diaper changes. Every small thing became precious. The first smile. The first tiny laugh. The first time the baby grabbed Jana's finger and held on. Those moments stitched themselves into Jana's memory, becoming part of her forever. Sometimes, when visitors left and the house grew quiet again, Jana would sit by the crib and just watch her daughter sleep. She would trace the baby's little features and think about the future. The first steps, the first birthday, the first time she would say, "Mama." Each thought filled her with a mix of joy and wonder. She wanted her daughter to grow up surrounded by love, but also to know strength. The kind of quiet, steady strength that had carried Jana through her own journey. One evening, Jim, Bob, and Michelle invited everyone for a family dinner. The house was full again. Laughter, music, children running around. Jana sat quietly in a corner, holding her baby as her siblings talked and shared stories. For a moment, she simply listened, feeling the rhythm of family all around her. And in that noise, that beautiful, chaotic sound, she felt peace. It was a peace that came from knowing she belonged, that her story had unfolded exactly as it was meant to. Later that night, when everyone had gone home, Jana and Stephen stepped outside once again. The sky was clear, the stars brighter than ever. Jana looked up, her baby sleeping soundly in her arms, and whispered, "I finally understand what it means to be blessed." Stephen smiled, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. They stood there for a long time, saying nothing, just breathing in the quiet. Inside the house, a framed photo sat on the mantel, a new family picture taken just a few days earlier. Jana, Stephen, and their baby smiling together, surrounded by love. The photo captured more than just faces. It captured healing, hope, and a promise that life would continue to grow in the light of faith. And as the night deepened, the world seemed to slow down, not in sadness but in peace. Jana Duggar, once the quiet soul in a noisy family, had found her purpose. She had found her miracle. And in the soft glow of her daughter's presence, she had discovered that sometimes the most beautiful stories are the ones that take the longest to begin. Months passed, and the quiet miracle that had begun with a single newborn cry continued to ripple through every corner of the Duggar world. The family, once divided by distance, differences, and time, slowly began to draw closer again. Jana's baby had become more than just a child. She was the living symbol of hope, the bridge that reconnected hearts long separated by silence. Inside the Duggar home, everything felt gentler now. The tension that used to hum beneath family conversations had faded. In its place was laughter, shared prayers, and soft reminders of what family truly meant. Michelle often said that God had used Jana's child to remind them all of grace. Sometimes, she would whisper during her morning prayers, "A single life can heal generations." Jinger, who lived far away in Los Angeles, made more frequent trips home, eager to be part of the baby's early memories. Joanna and Jessa began spending entire weekends at Jana's, helping with feeding times, laughing as they remembered their own first-time motherhood struggles. Even the brothers, who rarely spoke about emotions, seemed softer, taking turns holding their niece, surprising Jana with small gifts, or fixing things around the house without being asked. And through it all, Jana found herself changing too. She was still calm and gentle, but now there was a quiet confidence in her. Motherhood had brought out a new kind of strength, the kind that grows when love becomes your daily purpose. She no longer questioned whether her life was meaningful. She knew it was. Every night, as she tucked her daughter into bed, she would whisper the same words. "You are loved, you are wanted, and you are my miracle." Stephen, too, had grown into his role as a father beautifully. The once slightly awkward, shy man had become devoted, tender, and strong. He would rise early in the morning to prepare bottles, rock the baby back to sleep, and even hum lullabies that made Jana laugh softly from across the room. Their love, tested and strengthened through sleepless nights and new challenges, had blossomed into something real and unshakable. Outside their home, the Duggar name, once shadowed by controversy and judgment, began to carry warmth again. The media stories changed tone. Instead of speculation or criticism, people were writing about transformation, forgiveness, and faith. The baby had unknowingly done what no public statement or apology ever could. She had softened the world's view of the family. Fans flooded social media with words like redemption, grace, and miracle. Old viewers of the Duggar shows started to return, sharing how touched they were by Jana's quiet journey into motherhood. For many, she represented something universal. The idea that it's never too late to find love, never too late to start again. As seasons changed, the baby grew, her laughter becoming the soundtrack of the home. Her first word came one soft morning when she looked up at Jana and whispered, "Mama." That one tiny word felt like music, echoing through Jana's heart. She cried, holding her daughter close, whispering, "You'll never know how long I waited to hear that." On her first birthday, the family gathered again for a celebration unlike any other. The house was filled with balloons, the smell of vanilla cake, and the sound of joyful chatter. Jim Bob stood proudly at the head of the table, looking around at his grown children, their spouses, and the grandchildren running everywhere. "This," he said, raising his glass of juice. "This is what life is about, family, forgiveness, and new beginnings." Jana looked at her daughter as the baby reached for her tiny cake, her small hand smearing frosting across the table. Laughter filled the room, the kind that comes from deep within, the kind that only families who've been broken and rebuilt can truly know. Later that night, when everyone had gone home and the baby was fast asleep, Jana and Stephen sat outside once more. The same stars that had watched over them the night of the birth still glittered above. The air was cool, calm, and full of memory. Jana leaned her head on Stephen's shoulder and said softly, "I used to think my life started late, but now I know it started right on time." Stephen smiled, wrapping his arm around her. "God's timing is never wrong," he replied. They sat there in silence for a long while, the night deep and peaceful around them. Inside, the house was quiet except for the soft breathing of their child, the sound that had changed everything. Jana closed her eyes and whispered a final prayer, not of asking but of gratitude. Gratitude for the wait, for the pain, for the journey, and for the miracle that had turned every tear into joy. And somewhere in the soft Arkansas night, under the endless sky, the story of Jana Duggar and her little family became more than just news. It became a reminder that every heart, no matter how long it waits, will one day find its home. Years passed quietly, like the soft turning of pages in a well-loved book. The Duggar home, once filled with constant motion, laughter, and the clatter of little feet, had settled into a gentler rhythm. Seasons came and went, children grew into adults, and new generations were born. Yet among all those changes, one story continued to shine brighter than the rest. The story of Jana Duggar, the daughter who once waited, and the mother who had become a symbol of grace. Her little girl was no longer a baby now. She had grown into a curious, bright-eyed child who carried both her parents' kindness and her smile. She loved running through the gardens outside their Arkansas home, chasing butterflies and laughing in the sunlight. Jana would often stand by the porch watching her, remembering the sleepless nights, the whispered prayers, the first steps, and the first word. Every milestone felt like a quiet miracle, a living reminder of how far love had carried them. Stephen had built a life rooted in simplicity and faith. Their home wasn't extravagant, but it was full of warmth. Books scattered on the table, toys in the hallway, the smell of freshly baked bread in the kitchen. On Sundays, the family still gathered for dinner, and the same laughter that had once filled Michelle and Jim Bob's home now echoed again through Jana's walls. The legacy continued, not through fame or wealth, but through love that stayed strong through time. Jana had changed deeply. She was no longer just the eldest Duggar daughter, defined by her patience and selflessness. She was a woman who had lived, loved, and found her own voice. Motherhood had taught her that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, holding steady through long nights and quiet sacrifices. She began writing down her thoughts in journals, small pieces of wisdom, reflections about motherhood, faith, and patience. She never planned to publish them, but her daughter would one day find them, and they would become her most cherished treasures. As the years passed, the Duggar family itself transformed. Old wounds healed, distances shortened, and hearts softened. Family reunions became bigger, happier, and more filled with forgiveness than ever before. Even those who had drifted away began to return, drawn back by the quiet pull of love. Jana's daughter grew up surrounded by cousins, laughter, and the same values of kindness and faith that had always held the Duggars together. One summer evening, as the golden sun began to set behind the hills, Jana sat on the porch swing with her now 10-year-old daughter beside her. The sky was painted with colors: gold, pink, and violet, the same shades that had filled the sky the night she was born. The child looked up at her mother and asked softly, "Mama, do you ever miss your old life?" Jana smiled, her eyes reflecting the sunset. "Sweetheart," she said, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's face, "this is my old life and my new one too. Everything I ever hoped for is right here." The girl smiled, leaning her head on her mother's shoulder. Inside the house, Stephen called them for dinner. His voice carried the same warmth it always had. The smell of home-cooked food filled the air, and laughter could be heard again as they walked inside. It was simple, peaceful, perfect. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Jana walked quietly to her daughter's room. She kissed her forehead and whispered, "You were my miracle. You still are." Then she stood by the window, looking out at the moonlit fields. The night was still, the stars endless, and for a moment, she felt her heart overflow with gratitude. In the soft glow of the moon, Jana realized that her story, the long wait, the heartbreaks, the doubts, had never been a delay. It had been preparation. Every unanswered prayer, every silent tear had led her here, to the life she was always meant to live. And so, as the years continued to unfold, the Duggar family's story was no longer just one of fame and tradition. It became a story of renewal, of a woman who found her purpose not in the noise of the world, but in the quiet heartbeat of her child. The world still remembered her, not as the daughter who waited too long, but as the mother who proved that miracles always come in their own perfect time. Under the stars of Arkansas, Jana Duggar's laughter softly blended with the night wind, gentle, steady, and eternal, the sound of a woman who had finally found home.